interviews with Charles Shambry. And on the show we have here Kariman. Kariman is here to share her story, her life. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, nice to have you here.
Thank you.
This is our first time meeting each other in person.
Yes.
And so excited to do that. We've been corresponding.
About 2 years.
About 2 years?
Yeah.
2 years has it been?
I think so, yeah. I think so. At least.
Time flies
Yes.
for sure. And now I finally have you here in person. You flew in person to have this interview, which is great. And where you from originally, and how long you've been here for? Tell us about your life, your story.
I grew up in Egypt, and I moved here 24 years ago permanently. I have been to the States many times since I was a child because I have family that live in Portland. But I came here permanently 24 years ago from Cairo.
From Cairo.
Yes.
Why Portland? Of all places, why Portland?
My family here immigrated here back in the 50s. My great uncles came here, and then my great grandparents and my grandmother came here. They all came straight to Portland back then.
Okay.
So,
And you enjoy Portland?
yes,
Okay.
very much so.
And you're from Egypt originally?
I'm Palestinian.
Palestine, okay. But you lived in Egypt, is that right?
Yes, I grew up in Egypt.
So let's hear about Egypt, because Egypt is different.
Very different, very crowded, very hot, very humid. But I still miss it. Miss the food and the family, of course, and friends and all that. But Egypt is just, it's a fun place to visit, but not to live in.
Gotcha. When was the last time you were there?
Last year.
Last year?
Last year,
Okay.
yes. I visited my parents last year.
Okay, wonderful. And you still have a lot of family there?
Yes.
Okay.
My sisters are there, my mom, my dad. I have uncles and cousins. And of course, all my high school friends are there because that's where I went to high school.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So what do you do here? What do you do for a living here in Oregon, rather? Do you work you work all over probably?
Yeah.
But what do you do here specifically, and tell us about that, and do you enjoy what you do? Does it impact, is it helpful to others? Because this show is all about positivity and how we can help the community. So is it something that empowers others and helps them for the better good?
Well, of course, it's most of the people. I'm an interpreter. I'm an Arabic interpreter. Most of my work is with patients in hospitals or clinics, and just helping people. I love doing it. I've only started interpreting in September, this last September, but I regret not starting it before.
Why you say that?
Because I love the work so much. I love meeting new people. I love helping people, especially when people are sick and they're trying to, explain to a doctor what's going on. And I just love helping people. Because some of these people don't understand a word in English. And it's very hard to live in a country where you don't speak the language. I was lucky enough to be bilingual since childhood, but it's very hard to live in a country where you don't know the language.
Understood. And
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of folks that are watching right now can definitely identify with that. I lived in Germany for 3 years. Even though a lot of people speak English there, if you're in the wrong parts, I mean, you just can't manage to get around. And so I definitely understand a language barrier and how it can be hard if you don't speak the same language.
Exactly.
Now, I asked you to come on the show because you have an interesting background, which you were Mrs. Jordan.
Yes.
So we want to hear about that. Tell us your experience, maybe some stories. How did you get elected or chosen for this special spot or position?
So
Let's hear more about that.
the reason why I was Mrs. Jordan is because I had a Jordanian citizenship since childhood. My father used to live in Jordan, so but we're Palestinian originally. But the way I got to Mrs. Jordan is I was watching Mrs. America on TV, and they were saying if there's anybody that's interested in being a contestant, and to apply. And I applied, and I told them that I was Jordanian because that was my citizenship at the time, and they invited me, and it was a great experience. It was 2 weeks with 35 women from all over the world, and it was great. It was a great experience.
Very cool. So tell me more about that. Was there any other stories that you had? I understand you said it was televised. Can you tell us?
It was televised.
Okay.
So the whole experience was different for me. It was new. So we had to do rehearsals every day. We had to walk certain ways.
Well, what was your talent, though? What was your? Sorry to cut you off, but
No, they didn't have a talent.
okay.
There wasn't a talent. It was mostly the costume, the national costume.
Okay.
So I wore a traditional Jordanian dress.
Okay. So they had you walk down
With-
the catwalk, or what do they call it? Or?
Well, we were on stage, and they had, all of us come one by one out with, everybody had their costumes, and there wasn't any talent in the show. It was just the costumes mostly, because some of them were very elaborate.
Okay. Cool. Well, great. Tell us how do we stay in contact with you? Anything you want to share as we would close out here?
Just thank you for having me, and I love being an American, and I'm happy that I'm here, and thank you for having me.
Very nice. So you heard Kariman's life, her story, how she's helping others, connecting others through language. You hear her talent, how she's a nice person willing to give of herself. We heard her story, how she came from Egypt, and she's here helping others in the community. We want to thank her for coming to the show. We want to thank you for watching the show.